Hey everyone, and welcome to another deep dive. This time we'll be exploring the fascinating world of Kintsugi. Have you heard about this?
Yes, it's amazing.
It's a Japanese art form. Basically, they take broken pottery
Right.
and repair it with gold.
Yeah.
But it's not just fixing it.
No, it's way more than that.
They really highlight the cracks. They make the breaks beautiful,
It is really about highlighting those imperfections.
And, you end up with something even more beautiful
Invaluable.
than before it was broken.
Exactly.
We've got some really great sources to help us understand this a little better.
Oh, wonderful.
We've got a personal blog post by Vanitha Risner,
I love her work.
and then a BBC article, which I found super interesting.
Oh, cool.
I
I
love-
always go right for those personal stories.
Me too, but they're so powerful.
We've also got an Encyclopedia Britannica entry.
Wow, so we're going deep.
Yeah, to get all the technical details, all the nitty-gritty.
We'll be Kintsugi experts by the end of this. Exactly. So get ready, because we're going to explore how Kintsugi connects to this whole idea of finding beauty in imperfection.
Yeah, and it's not just about aesthetics either. There's a whole philosophy behind it.
Absolutely.
About resilience, acceptance. We'll see that come through in Vanitha's story.
I'm excited to get to that.
And really how Kintsugi is being used today. It's really relevant.
Okay, so let's just start simple. Imagine this. You've got your favorite mug, right?
Oh, yeah, I can picture it.
And it just shatters.
Oh, the worst.
It's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
But instead of throwing it away, you decide, you know what?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to put it back together. I'm going to take the time.
Love it.
And I'm going to use gold to trace those breaks, those cracks.
Okay.
So it's Kintsugi.
Yeah.
Golden joinery.
It's beautiful, literally golden joinery.
Literally.
It really is about taking those broken pieces and using a special lacquer, usually mixed with gold,
Oh, wow.
to bind them back together. And it's not like, just gluing something back together.
No,
This takes so much patience,
I bet.
skill.
Right.
And instead of trying to just hide the damage like we so often do,
Yeah.
Kintsugi makes those cracks part of the story, part of the object's history.
It's like it's been through something.
Right, and come out even stronger,
Yeah.
more beautiful for it.
It's like it's saying, hey, this happened to me, but it didn't destroy me.
Exactly.
It made me stronger, more interesting.
It's a powerful message.
I really resonate with that idea.
Me too. It's really a shift from, how we usually approach things.
I know, right? Like we're always trying to hide our imperfections.
Always covered them up.
But kids is like, no, embrace them.
Yes. Show them off.
I love that.
There's this quote from Jay Wolf that I think really captures it perfectly.
Oh, yeah.
It's from Vanitha's blog.
Okay.
The object is functional, once again,
Mm-hmm.
and dignified, not discarded. It's stronger and even more valuable because of its reinforced golden scars. Wow.
How powerful is that?
So powerful. It really makes you think about how we view brokenness
For sure.
and our whole obsession with perfection,
Yeah, it's like we're given permission to be imperfect.
What are your thoughts on that?
I think it's so important. We put so much pressure on ourselves to be perfect.
Mm-hmm.
But Kintsugi shows us that it's those imperfections that make us unique.
Yeah.
They make us who we are.
It really challenges that idea of damaged or broken.
It does. Like, what do those words even mean, right?
Right.
And this is where I think the Japanese philosophy of wabi-sabi comes in.
I've heard of that.
You see like an old weathered object,
Uh-huh.
and there's this certain beauty to it.
Yeah, like a patina.
Yes, like
Or-
a patina, exactly. And that's wabi-sabi,
Okay.
finding beauty in the imperfect,
Yeah.
the impermanent,
Correct.
the natural cycle of things.
So it's not about striving for some flawless ideal.
No.
It's about appreciating things as they are,
Exactly.
even with their cracks and imperfections. And their history, their story,
Yeah. And Kintsugi really brings that to life.
it's a visual representation of wabi-sabi.
I love that.
And Vanitha's blog post really illustrates this perfectly.
Oh, let's talk about that.
She talks about how she tried to make a Kintsugi bowl herself.
Oh, wow.
And it just shows how Kintsugi can apply to our own lives.
Our own personal growth, resilience.
Yes, exactly.
I mean, her story, it's so relatable. She's dealing with chronic illness.
Oh, it's tough.
And, she's lost some abilities.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. She even talks about how she tried to make the imperfections in her Kintsugi bowl look perfect.
Oh, that's so interesting.
It's like, even when we're trying to embrace imperfection, we still have that instinct
Yeah, to control it.
to make it perfect.
To curate it,
Yeah,
I think that's so human, though.
it is. And I was really touched by something her friend said to her.
Oh, what was that?
Her friend said, being an artist is not really about what you do. It's about who you are.
That's so good.
And it really got me thinking about, times in my own life when, it really got me thinking about, times in my own life when I was recovering from surgery and I couldn't do a lot of the things I loved,
Oh, wow.
like hiking and gardening.
Yeah,
And I felt so limited, like part of me was missing.
I can imagine.
But then I started focusing on what I could do,
Oh, okay. Yeah,
like writing and just spending time with loved ones.
those are good things.
And I realized that my identity, it wasn't defined by those physical abilities.
Yeah.
It was more about my creativity and my connections with other people.
That's such a powerful realization, and it reminds me of how Kintsugi encourages us to see our limitations, not as like defining characteristics,
Right.
but as opportunities for growth.
I like that.
It's about adapting, finding new ways to express ourselves,
Yes.
discovering new strengths.
Exactly. Our limitations can even lead to unexpected creativity.
Yay, like a beautiful imperfection.
Like those gold seams in Kintsugi.
Exactly.
They wouldn't exist without the breaks.
That's true.
So speaking of those gold seams, let's talk about the technical side of Kintsugi for a minute.
Okay, let's get into the nitty-gritty.
The traditional process, it involves using urushi lacquer.
Yeah, have you heard of this?
I have.
It comes from the sap of a Japanese tree.
So it's a natural material.
Totally natural, which I think fits so well with that whole wabi-sabi philosophy.
Yeah, appreciating nature's imperfections.
Absolutely. And the urushi, it's harvested, refined, and aged for years.
Oh, wow.
Before it can even be used.
That's amazing.
It's a really time-consuming process.
I can imagine.
It requires like a deep understanding of the material.
Yeah, so much patience and dedication.
It's incredible.
It really elevates Kintsugi beyond just a simple repair technique.
Totally.
It's an art form
It is.
with so much tradition behind it.
Steeped in tradition, yeah.
And the way they apply the urushi, it's intricate too.
Right, yeah. Very intricate.
It's applied in these thin layers and they dust it or mix it with powdered gold.
Oh, or silver sometimes.
Or silver, okay.
And then they polish it to this beautiful sheen.
I can see why a single Kintsugi repair can take weeks.
Or even months.
Yeah, it's not about a quick fix, is it?
No, it's really about mindful restoration.
And there are modern adaptations of Kintsugi as well.
Oh, interesting. What kind?
They use epoxy instead of the urushi
Oh, okay.
because it's more readily available
Makes sense.
and easier to work with.
So
So
more people can try it.
it's more accessible for a wider audience.
Yeah, I can see how that would be appealing.
But it's interesting, right? There's this tension between preserving the tradition
Uh-huh.
and evolving the art form.
It's like, what is the essence of Kintsugi?
Yeah, what makes it Kintsugi?
What's the material?
Or the intention.
Or the philosophy behind it?
Right.
It's a good question.
And, it reminds me of how Vinitha was trying to make the imperfections in her bowl look perfect.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's so interesting.
It's that human instinct
Yeah.
to strive for control, even when we're embracing this idea of imperfection.
We want to control the imperfection.
I know.
It's funny.
But maybe it's about letting go of that need for control.
Yeah.
That's truly transformative.
Accepting that we can't always dictate how those pieces come back together.
That's a good point.
And finding beauty in the unexpected results.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of finding beauty in unexpected places,
Mm-hmm.
there's another story that we came across that I think is really powerful
Oh, which one?
about how Kintsugi can help us understand
Uh-huh.
and process grief.
Oh, wow.
The story of Bonnie Kemsky. Do you remember that one?
Yes, how Kintsugi helped her to come to terms with her brother's death.
Exactly.
That one really stuck with me.
Yeah, it's powerful.
In the excerpt, Kintsugi helped me to understand my brother's death.
Mm-hmm.
Bonnie shares how Kintsugi transformed her whole understanding of loss.
Yeah.
It allowed her to see beauty in those broken pieces of her life. Yeah. She was just a child when her brother passed away.
Oh, wow.
And it really left her feeling shattered.
I can only imagine.
But through Kintsugi, she found a way to reframe her grief.
Yeah.
To see it as part of a larger story.
A more beautiful story.
A more beautiful story, yeah.
She describes a shattered pot becoming like a new entity.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like it's saying out loud, I was broken.
Yeah.
But now, even though I am not perfect, I am more beautiful.
And stronger.
And stronger than ever.
It's such a powerful image of healing.
Yeah.
resilience.
And I love how Kintsugi offers a different perspective on healing from trauma.
Right.
It's not about erasing the pain,
Or pretending it didn't happen.
but acknowledging
And
it.
finding a way to piece ourselves back together.
Yeah, stronger and more beautiful for having gone through it.
I think that's so important.
It is. I can almost imagine a therapist
Yeah.
using Kintsugi to help a client
Process something, yeah.
process a traumatic experience.
That's a great point.
And they're repairing this broken object together.
Yeah, it's symbolics, right?
And they're symbolically mending those broken pieces of the client's emotional well-being.
Yeah, like externalizing the internal.
And it's a tangible way to engage with that process.
I love that.
And Bonnie's story, it just reminds us
We're not alone.
that we're not alone in our brokenness.
Exactly.
And our scars, both physical and emotional.
Yeah.
They can be sources of strength and
Yeah.
beauty.
Absolutely.
And it seems like that message is really resonating with people around the world.
It is. Kintsugi's popularity has really grown beyond Japan.
Yeah, that's so interesting to me. I'm curious, what do you think is driving that global interest in Kintsugi?
That's a good question.
I'm curious, what do you think is driving that global interest in Kintsugi?
I think it's a few things. You know,
Okay.
we live in a world that's so focused on speed and efficiency and, you know, just disposability.
Yeah, if it's broken, just toss it.
Exactly. But Kintsugi offers something different. It's about slowing down, taking the time to repair, to restore,
Yeah.
and appreciating the value of imperfections.
I love that. It's like a pushback against that throwaway culture.
Yes, exactly. And I think people are craving that connection, not just to objects, but to the stories behind them.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Kintsugi reminds us that even broken things can be beautiful
Yeah.
and valuable, and that our own imperfections, they're part of what makes us unique.
Makes us who we are.
Exactly.
And, you know, it's a reminder that healing takes time,
Yeah.
just like that meticulous process of Kintsugi. Oh.
It's not about quick fixes.
No.
It's about patience, care,
Yeah.
and being willing to embrace the whole journey.
With all its messy, imperfect moments.
Absolutely, because that's where the beauty lies, right?
Absolutely.
But, you know, I think it's also important to acknowledge
Okay.
that not everything can or should be repaired.
That's true.
You know, there are times when letting go is necessary.
Mm-hmm.
When holding on to broken things can actually be harmful.
Yeah.
Kintsugi isn't about clinging to the past.
Okay.
It's about transforming it into something new and beautiful.
So it's about knowing when to mend and when to let go.
Exactly, discernment.
Yes. I love that word.
And it brings us back to that question we talked about earlier.
Mm-hmm.
What broken pieces in your life
Oh, yeah.
could benefit from the Kintsugi approach? What challenges, what losses, what imperfections have you been trying to hide or ignore?
It's a really good question to think about.
It is.
You know, maybe there are relationships that need mending or creative projects that we've abandoned.
Out of fear.
Yeah, out of fear of imperfection or, you know.
Or maybe even parts of ourselves that we haven't wanted to face.
Exactly.
Kintsugi invites us to approach those broken pieces with compassion, curiosity, and a willingness to see the beauty.
In the cracks.
In the cracks, exactly.
And to realize that those experiences, you know, however painful,
however challenging,
they've shaped us.
They've made us who we are.
And by embracing them, finding a way to integrate them into our story, we can create something stronger and more beautiful.
And more resilient.
This has been a fascinating deep dive into the world of Kintsugi.
I agree.
We've explored the techniques, the philosophy, the metaphors.
And the personal stories.
Yes. The stories are so powerful.
They are.
But ultimately, Kintsugi is about so much more than just repairing broken pottery, isn't it?
It is. It's about mending the brokenness within ourselves.
Yes.
And finding beauty in the unexpected, the imperfect.
And the tapestry of our lives.
Exactly.
So, as you go about your day today, I encourage you to look for the Kintsugi in your own life.
Yeah, notice those cracks, those scars.
The imperfections.
And see them not as flaws, but as opportunities.
Yeah, for transformation.
Embrace those broken pieces.
Yeah.
And find a way to mend them with your own inner gold.
That's beautiful. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into Kintsugi.
Of course, it was my pleasure.
We hope you've discovered something new and inspiring.
Me too.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning.
And keep diving deep.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.